Oh, that's some pretty extreme sound effects. You know, like, listening to this right now, you know, it's really impressive. I mean, it really sounds really good. But, you know, does this ever get in the way of, you know, the gameplay or anything like that? You know, having all this sound, you know, explosions and gunshots and things like that?
Yes, but I was careful not to have gunshot too close to the player, so that it would not confuse the player.
Ah, okay. Wow, I didn't realize that.
You did?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Did you?
No, of course not.
I mean, yeah, it just sounds so natural. You know, just when you get into a fight, you just hear all these gunshots. I didn't realize that was, you know, a completely separate track.
Well, I didn't know about the Senjo stream either, you know.
Normal game sound effects like da-da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun don't have enough variation. So Senjo stream was added to create more realism, like dun da dun, da dun da dun, dun dun dun.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, because I think, you know, that's something that, you know, I think stands out also. Like even, you know, when we first had the first playable at TGS, you know, after talking to people who had a chance to play it, and, you know, they listened to it, and, you know, played the game, I think that's something that everybody said, you know, that the sound was of the war zone.
Yeah, well, I remember
really
we specifically try to highlight a lot of people to concentrate on the sound, so we set, you know, headphones.
Right, right.
Not a lot of, you know, Tokyo Game Show or E3, whatever, don't really do that, right? But, you know, Tojin, I remember, he insisted we have to have sound so that people could go into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And feel the sound. And I guess, you know, it's right, he said that, because he and his team did all this effort, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Tojin, what's your team like? I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 sound team. Well, what's the team like?
It's a very talented team of about 10 people. It is divided into composers, sound designers, and sound programmers.
Cool. So yeah, you guys work really close with, you know, the programmers and scripters, and I remember this too, that, you know, you did actually go into the script and do things yourselves also, which, you know, which is really cool. And you know, I think that's why, you know, we're able to get that really immersive level of sound. You know, because the sound designers had like total control over everything, which is kind of unusual. Okay, so yeah, so you got this internal sound team, which is really great. But, you know, I think a lot of people also, when they think of Metal Gear, you know, they think of, you know, collaborations with these really big name composers like, you know, Harry Gregson Williams or like, you know, Christopher Boyes from Skywalker Ranch and things like that. So can you comment on that at all?
Yes, they are very talented professionals. I was very honored to work with them. They really inspired me and the team.
I remember this part with Harry and Tojin. You know, we came up early. We came in early in the morning and did like video conference with Harry in LA.
Of course, there's
Tojin in Tokyo.
a time difference, of course,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's really early in the morning.
Exactly. I remember.
Okay, well, Tojin, it's an integral podcast, so I want to hear some tips. I mean, like, can you introduce a kind of a tune that you think that no one can find it?
Okay, in the Middle East, right before the scene with Johnny in the barrel, you can get an iPod track by crawling under the wall on your left before you jump down from the collapsed building.
All right, everybody got that? So go ahead and look for that iPod track. All right, well, unfortunately.
Turn up the volume and listen to the game the way it was meant to be listened to.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tojin.
That was Tojin, everybody. Let's give him a hand.
So I think we have to wrap this up. I want Tojin's laugh.
Okay. Yeah, by popular demand, we need the Tojin laugh.
I think everyone wants to hear
I
Tojin
think so.
laugh.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks, Tojin. See ya. So since it's the last, you know, integral podcast that's going to be in Metal Gear Solid 4, you know, do you guys have any particular memories or, you know, I mean, we had a lot of fun making the game and doing this podcast, and, you know, hope everybody had as much fun playing it and listening. So, you know, but do you guys have any, like, anything in particular that really stands out as, like, a memorable moment?
Well, doing this podcast and knowing a lot of details about, you know, a lot of things, I kind of take back my word that I don't like the stages you worked on. Which was Shadow Moses. Right now I'm playing at home again, you know, Shadow Moses stage, and I'm kind of remembering everything you said and Ken said about, you know, take a photo here or you know, sneak here.
Yeah, and his wife.
Yeah.
I think we cut that.
So it you know, it brings me, even myself doing the show brings me back, you know, special memories of, you know, oh, we talked about this, or this is really cool, there's so much effort here. And to me it changed totally, you know, the impression of even how I play the game, even as, you know, one of the people in the company, you know, associated in this work.
Cool.
But, you know, I think people should kind of really listen to this and go back to their favorite stages, and you'll probably have a totally different view of it.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
What about you, Ken?
Me?
Yeah, MGS4.
Well,
you know, you don't want to think about it?
It's a good memory, you know, my 4 years since 2005. You know, we started the Metal Gear Solid 4 project, and it was really tough project. We had so many problems, and some people might know, you know, some people watched the making of video, and we had a problem, you know, each like a month, or we have huge problems.
Yes.
You know, we gotta solve those problems, and just like, you know, we're running like full speed, like, you know, for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people in the game industry, they have, you know, crunch time. It felt like Metal Gear Solid 4 was crunch time all the time.
Full 4 years, it's crunch time, and then we finally finished it. But then I look back this, you know, Metal Gear Solid 4, and then check all details, you know, one more time, and then I was kind of like, you know, oh, it looks totally different, you know. It's so beautiful.
Totally, yeah, I know what you mean, because, you know, when you're in there, it's kind of like that whole, you know, you don't see the forest for the trees kind of thing. You're so deep into making the game that you can't really step back and take a look at it. But yeah, you know, now that it's been, you know, about a year after we released it, you know, going back and playing it, you know, while we do this Integral podcast, you know, it's really nostalgic and brings back a lot of memories.
It's totally different.
And I can play it as a game, you know, rather than as a developer, which is a lot of fun. And, you know, for the final episode, I think we should just talk about, you know, things that, maybe some secrets or tips, maybe, that, you know, maybe people may have missed, maybe like the bosses, or, you know, just little secret things here and there. You know, there's a lot of secret stuff in the game, and, you know, of course we can't cover it all. You know, we tried going through all the stages, but, you know, we can't cover everything. And
what's the thing that we didn't say? I mean,
there's a lot of stuff that we didn't say.
I mean, the secret tips.
Oh, for example, you know, like getting through, like, do you know you can collect figures of the bosses? Figures, like statues.
Like a statue figures.
In the Nomad.
In the Nomad?
You can give figures to Sunny.
Right, you know, you defeat the boss
in
some way, and you can get the figure, statue at that stage.
Yeah.
Not the mask?
Not only
well, there is the mask also. So I think, we never really explained that, how they can get this kind of stuff.
Right.
So
that would be good.
And it's something they can use throughout the entire game, you know, because you can do it on any boss.
Right.
For the, you know, whenever there's the Beauty and the Beast, and you fight them, of course it's Metal Gear, so you don't have to kill them. You know, you can use non-lethal forms of combat. And, you know, of course, there's a kill count in the game. And, you know, of course, you can get through without killing anybody and things like that. And even more than that, you know, the thing is, with the beast form of the boss, even if you use your regular weapons, it won't count as a kill. But you still get something for using non-lethal combat on the beasts. And what that is you actually get a figure. So, you know, you fight the boss, right? And then you use some non-lethal form of combat, you know, whether it's tranquilizers or whatever, and then, you know, you defeat them, and then after that, you know, the beauty battle starts, right? They come out of the suit, and at that point, somewhere in the stage, there'll be a figure hidden somewhere. So if you look around, you can find, you know, like a statue of wolf or a statue of octopus. Yeah.
I didn't know.
And also, you know, I think some people may have found those, maybe, for the beasts.
Yeah.
But There's also a statue for the Haven Troopers as well.
Where can you find it?
You remember the first Integral podcast where we were talking about Advent Palace?
Yeah.
Well, right after that, where our podcast left off, there's of course that battle with the Haven Troopers.
Yes. Yes.
And if you use non-lethal combat there, at the end, when you drop down to that basement area, that kind of parking garage area, you can find a statue of the Haven Troopers there.
Well, that's a real tough one, isn't it? I mean,
it is pretty tough.
The first battle, right? You don't expect to use tranquilizer guns and things like that. You want to mash through.
Yeah, it's a really good way to challenge yourself.
Right.
For people who beat it once, and then they want to go back and collect all the items, or maybe try a different challenge. That's a really good thing to do. So
not that hard though.
It depends.
Okay.
If you do it on like Big Boss Extreme or something.
Oh, Big Boss. No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so definitely for people who